Saturday morning I took my mom to the grocery store. She had a list, but her eyesight is failing and she couldn't read it. She handed it to me as we stood in the produce section. I took it, an old envelope with writing on the back. The problem was it wasn't a shopping list. It was a recipe with check marks next to some of the ingredients. So to make it easier, I started suggesting what we needed to get. That worked fine because she's losing her memory. She's also losing her balance, so I was hovering behind her, ready to catch her if she fell. When I was a little kid, my mom and dad were my protectors, my guides. Now, decades later, our roles have reversed, but they don't like it one little bit. Old school old men don't admit to weakness, such as aging. This is the generation that won World War II. Check history. It was not a sure thing that we'd win. 55 million people died in that war, a war that boiled down to, will humanity be ruled by dictators or be free? So I am very grateful to the people older than me that were so tough and resilient when forced to fight such a difficult battle. Part of my gratitude is to be patient with all gruff old men and every snippy old lady. Their generation's temperament was well suited to kicking Hitler's butt. People can afford to be much nicer to each other now. Because of their courage, we are free. So, thank you. So my mom is almost 90, and my dad couldn't take her shopping because he had some minor surgery the day before and wasn't allowed to drive. I'm slowly walking behind my mom at Kroger's, keeping my hand almost touching her back to be quicker at catching her if she started to fall. She often complains of dizziness, and then I spin it and tell her that it's just a pleasant elevation she's feeling, better than happy hour because it's free. She has no snippy retort, which means she likes my spin. I was not settling into the slow pace, and I realized I wanted to wrap things up and get out of there. Mom seemed bewildered as to where things were, and finally I asked a clerk, could you help us? We're looking for water chestnuts. Aisle 19, he said. We were in aisle 3. So at a snail's pace, Mom starts heading for aisle 19 with me bobbing along behind her like some goofy balloon. I tried to sigh as quietly as possible, because if old people think you are impatient, it makes them angry. A pretty woman my age came up to pass us at a normal pace with her shopping cart and leaned in and whispered to me, "You're such a good son to your mother." I smiled and said, "And your comment is so timely." We both had a chuckle, and she slipped past us. And then I was balanced again. I was patient again. I could do what I set out to do, which was not to procure groceries. It was to spend time with my mother. It was to let her get out into the world in safety, to feel normal and productive, and not quite so old. The way to that outcome wasn't by grocery shopping in the most efficient manner. I liked to help, so once I could see that helping in this instance would include shielding my mother from the onslaught of "hurry up" our society invites us to join in constantly, I got helpful and told my mom we had plenty of time, no rush, we can relax. The lady is taking her time. A long time later, she concluded that butter beans were not on sale at this store, so we needed to go across town to another store, Bush's. So with most of the shopping done, we headed for Bush's. Now, you gotta understand, my mom helps my dad drive. She sits in the passenger seat and barks commands. The blind lady yells, "Watch out!" to the deaf guy, who adjusts his driving accordingly. That's their system, and that's worked for many years, kind of. I tried to get Dad to give up driving, but he's from the stubborn generation that whipped Hitler's butt, so the battle isn't over, and I'm waiting for the right moment to try again. Well, actually, I'm trying now, having gotten Mom's assurance that she'll speak to Dad again about how dangerous it is, how cabs are only $3 per trip for people their age, how much money they could save in car expenses. If that route fails, I'll contact the state and have them bring Dad in for a driving test. That'll get him off the road, but it will hurt our relationship. But tough luck. He didn't let me drive when I was 8 years old. Now it's payback time. So Mom starts navigating for me out of habit. "Turn up here," she orders from the passenger seat. "Mom," I say, "I know the way to Bush's." No, she says. This isn't the way. Yes, it is, I insist. Eisenhower to Industrial, right on Industrial. It's up on the right. No, she said louder this time. You're going the wrong way. But I'm driving, and in a few minutes you'll see I'm right, I said. You're wrong, and you're going the wrong way. Mom, I said, I will bet you $20. $20 that Bush's is right up here on the right. Okay, she said, but you'll lose $20. We shook. I pulled up to the grocery store on the right, which wasn't a Bush's. It was Lucky's. I was smoked. I started laughing. All right, congratulations, Mumsy. You were right. You won the bet. Now, where is this Bush's we're looking for? Turn left at the next light, she said. I chuckled to myself, and then I chuckled at myself. Mom looked out the window. Then she turned to me and said, You owe me $20. We both laughed. I tried to pay her later that day, but she wouldn't have any of it. Between Dad's cancers and heart attacks and Mom's dizziness and other mysterious medical problems, there's a lot going on with those two. Doctor's appointments several times a week. They have good insurance, but mostly they have each other and the mountains of goodwill they piled up through the years, being sweet to us kids and our kids and their fellow man in general. I know my parents look to the future with fear. Fear of losing one another, of losing more of their health and independence. I reassure them that a lifetime of weekly church attendance, volunteering, of being good human beings with the courage of your convictions, and judging by their very own theology, it looks pretty likely they'll be getting into heaven. So heaven awaits, not a fresh pair of Depends or another biopsy. Freedom from old age awaits. All is well. Death is 100% natural. That's hard to accept, but not impossible, especially if you warm up to the idea as you get older and older. It's all right. It's okay that life ends this way. Look to your faith for comfort. Know that the future is brighter than the rough patch you're going through now. I'm preparing myself to accept their passing by savoring these times, the part of my life when I was given this marvelous gift, a chance to be their guide and protector as they once were for me. A really cool thing about humans, the part that makes us so resilient, is our natural urge to help others through difficult times. Part of that human characteristic is that we accept when we need help. If you think for a moment how much effort we all put into making each other's lives better, how much of our lives are spent helping each other, you'd also be forced to conclude that the world is humming, singing, ringing out with our love for our fellow man. Therefore, all is well.